all I wanted to be growing up was a cowboy. I never wanted to manage nothing or go to, through a ranching school. I turned back to the crew. I said, guys, y'all ain't got to do this. His saddle was a mess. We didn't get nothing gathered that day.
We didn't get nothing gathered that day.
We were just glad we all lived. We couldn't find anybody else. So we let Wakefield come.
I'm sorry. Been trying to have some of my friends in the ranching community on. Yes, and, have a lot of rodeo cowboys. And when I've had the last, 3 or 4 ranching cowboys, your name has come up a few times. And I was like, man, I think Mark does have a pretty cool story I feel like everybody would be interested in and maybe can relate to.
Well, probably none of it was good. Just what a dummy I was or something like that, I imagine.
Yeah. So what's the...
I have listened to some of your podcasts. I do enjoy them.
What all ones have you listened to?
I've listened to probably near all of them here
really?
Recently. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I listened to the Cowboy Cerrone one here a couple days ago.
Yeah.
You need to get... I think him, you were trying to get him look for somebody to fight.
Uh-huh.
You need to get him and Ryan Wakefield. Cowboy Cerrone versus Ryan Wakefield, King of Cowboys.
Okay.
That'd be a hell of a good...
Yeah.
And Ryan said he could whip him.
Did he really?
Yeah,
I bet he did.
Yeah.
That sounds like something Wakefield would say.
Yeah, Wakefield said he could whip him.
I don't know. I just assume Wakefield can throw down.
Yeah. You know Peter Robbins?
Yep.
He's an old, used to be a MMA type of guy.
Yeah.
And he wrestled. Wakefield's wanted to wrestle him one time real bad, and they got to wrestling, and he said Wakefield's one of the strongest guys he'd ever farted around with. Yeah, he's a tough son of a gun.
Didn't you also wrestle, Peter?
No, shoot. I'm smarter than that. No, I just watched them.
You were the one that instigated them to.
Oh, I don't remember it like that. But
I think that's what Wakefield said.
That's what he said on his podcast. Yeah, and that is how it happened. I did start.
Yeah, now I remember.
Yeah, I don't mind starting a little every now and then. What flavors you got there? Heck, I might have to try another one of these.
This is kiwi watermelon. That one's pretty good.
One.
Oh, yep, there's a little one.
Yeah.
Blueberry pomegranate.
Blueberry pomegranate. You got no vodka?
I don't have any vodka.
What the hell?
It's a workplace.
Mm.
Yeah. How do you think you could fare? Have you been against Cerrone?
Me, myself? Not worth it. I've never won a fight in my life. Been in a bunch of them. I've worn out some people's knuckles. But
you've not won one?
I'm not very tough.
Surely you've won one.
I'm not very tough.
Because I've heard the opposite.
No, I've been in some, but I'm not very damn tough.
You know, Cerrone said the hardest he's ever been punched was Ross Coleman.
Really?
A PBR.
Oh, really?
Rider. He said they showed up at the house to spar, and Ross didn't really understand the 60% or whatever.
Oh yeah,
light speed whenever they were going sparring, and he said he caught one went between Cerrone's hands, and he said that's the hardest he'd been hit.
Last fight I was in, it's been several years ago, but it's a guy named Jesse Valdez, good friend of mine, good feller, good cowboy. It was all my fault, and this son of a gun hit me with so many rights I was begging for a left. I seen him years later, and I'd finally healed up. But he said, we were laughing about it, and he said, this knuckle here's never been the same on his right hand. And sure enough, it was dented in. And I said, well, hell, my head healed up. I said, looks like I won. So I'm going to take that as I quit on a winning streak there.
Yeah.
No, I just soon get along.
That's me too.
You're cracking out, ain't you? You've been rolling around.
I mean, I am rolling just because I've got some instructors that are close by, and I thought, why not? It'd be nice to be able to defend yourself. But
close by here?
No kidding.
Really?
There's a black belt lives half a mile from my warehouse.
No kidding.
Yes. And so I don't mind waking up early. So I thought, shoot, I'll mess around and look up and maybe have a stripe on my white belt after a couple of years. And then I started running around with cowboy, and that kind of really got me interested in it.
It's good exercise, they say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Keeps you in shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, a guy probably ought to do it. I don't know, rolling around with another sweaty old man just seems different to me. But yeah, at times you go.
Especially when you're learning and you're going slow and you've got to be.
Get some weird positions. Yeah.
Intimately close to another man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think I just got one of your beard hairs in my mouth.
Yeah, right.
That's kind of. Yeah.
Hopefully it was a beard hair.
Yeah.
Beard hair.
Yeah. Hopefully it was a beard hair.
Hopefully. It's kind of like, you heard that time the America, can I tell a joke on here?
Yeah. It's preferred.
There was this American that.
My whole life is a joke, actually. Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Quit interrupting my joke. Anyway, this American kid had made it to the Olympics wrestling. Have you heard this?
And
he was pretty good.
Yeah.
And he made it and finally made the finals. And the guy he had to fight was a Russian. That was he was like Cowboy Cerrone or Ryan Wakefield. He was a bad dude. Didn't want to mess with him. Well, he had a hold called the pretzel hold. American coach said, whatever you do not get in that boy's pretzel hold. It'll be over with. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So they get to wrestling around there, and here in a minute, that American's doing pretty good. Here in a minute, he slips, and when he slips, that Russian pounces on him and has him in the pretzel hold. Well, that coach, the American coach, it's over. He threw his hat down, walked into the dressing room. Right as he opens the door, the crowd goes wild. America wins gold. America wins gold. I thought, how in the hell did that happen? He went over there and grabbed that kid up, and congratulations. He said, how in the hell did you get out of the pretzel hold? He said, Coach, I was bent and twisted, and I looked up and I seen a set of balls. He said, it's amazing what a man can do when he bites his own balls. That always kind of reminded me of the rolling around there. If you bite your own balls, I bet you get pretty tough.
It's either get tough or die.
Yeah,
one of the two.
Yeah, one of the two, yeah.
Oh, shoot. Well, take me back to the beginning of your cowboy journey.
How far back you want to go?
How far back does it go?
Yeah, well, that's all my dad did. We just moved, he just worked on ranches. We went to several.
Where'd you start?
Ranches.
Where was he?
When
you can remember cowboying.
Yeah. I don't even know where. Just really all I knew. I was born in Port Lavaca, Texas, and my dad and mom was kind of around there in Victoria. And he wasn't really, I don't think, from a ranching, but he wanted a cowboy, and he was a good cowboy and good horseman, still is. But he went west, and I think I've got 3 younger sisters, and Jonna, my wife, talked to my sister younger than me, and I think she went to 12 schools, and I went to 14. She'd counted up. We moved around a bunch. Yeah, just ranch to ranch.
Dang.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
So he was, I guess, what got you planted? Well, it might be a long ways, but
yeah.
Where was it that you learned the majority of it? When you were still
up with him,
living in
the
house.
With him, I didn't just, you didn't just sit around and watch cartoons on Saturdays and Sundays. You got up and went to work, helped your dad. It's kind of the way I did my kids, so we just got up and went to work.
What ranches do you remember?
What I call home is Santa Rosa, New Mexico. There on the Singleton Ranch is where we lived. I think we moved there when I was a freshman, and I graduated from there.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And I went to work there after graduation. I'd worked there for a little bit, and a guy named Don McKinley set me up with a horse trainer. I don't remember how Don knew that fella, but set me up with a horse, just starting colts and stuff with a guy in California. And I always kind of liked the horses, and I was terrible. My dad was good horseman. He just God-given talent. He rode good horses, but never really worked for a trainer, but sure rode a good one. But you know how it is trying to learn something from your dad. It's hard to do.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's a good start, though. I feel like as a cowboy, like if your dad's a good horseman, you know, that's the foundation of the rest of ranching.
Yeah.
So if you could get a handle on a horse,
it helps. And I know guys that, you know, can get by, but I was such piss poor help. I needed a horse to help me a little bit. Still do more than ever.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Is that your real hair or is that a wig? It's real?
Oh, yeah.
Gotten long since I seen
it is real long, actually.
Yeah.
I need to cut it. I hadn't been to have it cut in a while.
You bet.
But
still day work around?
Yeah.
Help some?
I'll go in the spring. I'll go the spring and I'll go the fall too. I like to go up there in the fall just because they nobody likes to be there during the fall. So I like to show up when.
I got to help them a little this last fall.
Yeah, that's what Brewster said.
And I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, did you stay at Brewster's house?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
It sounded like y'all had a dang good crew.
Oh man, it was good. Yeah, it's a good outfit.
Yeah, we're constantly
moving around,
fixing the
mic.
You like it now, Donnie? So yeah, it was you, Bones, and Ryan helping.
Mm-hmm.
Day working, right?
Yep. Ron Redford was there. That might have been all the day workers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fun little crew. We had a good time. Aggravated the piss out of Brew. You and him go way back, don't you?
Yep. Yeah, I talked to him this morning.
So you rodeoed with him and Cole.
Yep. What
Is that an American hat? No, that ain't. Nope.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I like to put this in.
Oh, that's you.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, I like to put this in all the podcasts. You know, it just kind of sets the mood.
You bet.
For the
your buckle, you got your big buckle on?
No, I don't. I should have brought it.
Yeah.
I wore it to the booth, and I got back from the booth, and after driving 2 hours from Fort Worth this morning, I had to take it off.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you go to rodeo down there, Fort Worth? Yeah.
Yep.
We near went to the horse sale and decided to stay home. We could watch it on the Cowboy app, so we stayed home and watched it.
On Cowboy Channel, they had it?
Yeah, on the Cowboy app channel, something. Jonna knows how to do all that. But anyway, it was good watching.
Yeah. I heard prices were up.
Yeah. Tripp sold one for $150,000.
Golly.
Yeah.
Good heavens.
Good deal.
Gelding too, huh?
A gelding, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. He rides a good one.
So, how long were you at Singleton's?
Oh, from freshman in high school, and then I went to work there after I graduated for a little while, and then that's when I went to California.
Dang, what'd you do out there?
Well, that's where I went to work for that horse trainer I was telling you about, that
Yep.
Don McKinley got me that job. And I just loaded up and didn't have much, old Ford pickup, drove to California, drove straight through and got there. And that guy, he said, well, we got about, I don't remember, 10 or 15 2-year-olds to start, and just went to starting colts.
What year was that?
95, probably 94, 95. I graduated in 94, so I guess tail end of 94, 95.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
What year were you born?
87.
87.
Yeah. Yeah, I was about 8 years old.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm a 76 model, so that'd be, yeah.
There you go.
Anyway, so did that and kind of got burnt out of loping circles a little bit and kind of wanting to go back home, so went back to New Mexico. And there was a guy named Bobby Butler that had bought a ranch there, the Agua Negra Ranch is what it was called, and he was in the cutting horse deal a little bit.
How you say it?
Agua Negra?
Oh.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
Is that or Bobby Butler?
No, I got the Bobby Butler.
Oh, yeah.
It was the ranch.
Yeah, Agua Negra.
That's way less offensive than I thought what you said.
Oh, no.
The what ranch?
The what ranch? Agua Negra, yeah.
Yeah.
There was some, I went to school with some Brisbys there in Santa Rosa. You got some family there?
I might.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know where you're going to run into a Juan
Brisby.
Juan Brisby.
Julio.
I've got a few of those way back.
Yeah. Julio Brisby. He was fast.
Much more tan.
Yeah. Their
very
hair,
tan.
Their hair was a little longer.
Yep.
Yeah. Heck. Anyway, come back and worked for him and riding horses, and then met my wife. They had come to town one day, and there was had some kind of auction deal. I don't remember, an old train depot, I think, and the people that raised her had Netta's family, I think, Donna's mom pretty much, had some kind of auction or something going in there, and I went in there to see what was going on. You know, I think I was 18, 19 by this time, and seen her, and Joe Tom White, I'd been starting a bunch of colts for him too on the side, and the auction was over, and he knew her, and he said he was talking about colts and this or that, and gonna get me to ride another one for him. And he's here in a minute, his wife come over there, Carla. She said, did you tell Mark about that girl that asked about him? And he said, oh, Mark don't care about that. I said, are y'all talking about that blonde that was walking around here? And she said, yeah. I said, yeah, Mark does care about that. Piss on these colts. Yeah, let's talk about that. So anyway, I'd run into Carla next few days at the grocery store, and she gave me John's number, and I called her, and she's been lucky ever since. No, I've been the lucky one, I guarantee you.
Dang, so that's
28 years.
I was about to say almost 30.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang. So where'd you go? Where'd y'all go after that?
Yeah, we just kind of moved around. I went to Arizona for a little stint. It didn't work out too whoopee.
What was it like out there?
You know, I liked the country. I just went to the wrong place. I'd watched that show, The Ranch Album, just young and dumb. I think
we all have.
Yeah. I just told my wife with a little baby,
this is what I got to do.
We're going to go to Arizona. And I took a job over the phone, and it wasn't a real good deal. Took a buddy out there with me, and it was a wreck. It
wasn't like the Ranch Album.
No, I kind of got chicken around.
This is not what the tape showed, y'all.
Yeah. The ranch was neat. It was a neat ranch, neat country.
Did it look like that?
It wasn't
country from
it was neat. It was a neat place, but it just wasn't like the ROs or I wished I'd have waited and tried to go to, somewhere had a little more better reputation, but I didn't. I just So anyway, we were there for a while and come back, and John had always told me, she said, I'll go anywhere you want to go, but I will not move to Texas. She did not want to ever go to Texas.
Where was it that you had met her?
In Santa Rosa, New Mexico.
Okay,
she's from Tucumcari.
You had gone back after.
Yes, sir.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And
why didn't she want to go to Texas?
I don't know what the deal is. A lot of people in New Mexico just hate Texas, seems like. And back then, anyway. She was sure one of them. But I kind of wanted to, I wanted to go to Pitchfork for some reason, bad. I got an interview with Bob in 98, I guess. Croton Camp was open, and drove down there and saw him and visited with him, and he didn't hire me.
Is that just South Camp, or is there
Croton Camp, I think it's more of a hunting camp now. It's closed down.
Gotcha.
They turned it into, I think, Red Hills now.
Gotcha.
But
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But Bob called you.
No, I called Bob.
Gotcha.
Wanting a job. Heard there was a camp open, Croton Camp. Anyway, he didn't hire me that time. He hired Marty Daniels, and exactly about a year later, Marty left, and I called Bob back, and he said, well, I don't remember you. You're going to have to come down and re-interview, which was understandable. Young, dumb kid. We drove back down there, and sure enough, he gave me the job that time. So we got to go to Croton Camp. Dang, that was a neat camp. We liked it. Had an old cistern. Got your water out of. We first moved in there, or I think the first time we'd put in for the camp. We went, Bob said, here, he kind of gave us directions. And we drove down there, and I was telling my wife, I said, dang, ain't this neat? Cistern water, and we dropped the pail and pulled it up, and there was a bunch of little red worms in that water. She wasn't too excited about it at that time. But anyway, we loved it down there. It was fun. A lot of fun.
How long were you there?
I think we was there a couple years, and then we moved from there to headquarters. Bob decided he wanted a horse guy to start riding some colts and sell horses, and so I started doing that a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was.
You circled back to being around horses more.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah. I kind of liked fooling around with them.
Yeah.
I was a terrible camp man, probably back in them days. I know I was, not probably, but I was always riding jacking with my horses more than feeding the cows, probably.
Yeah.
I always liked.
I guess he probably, if it had been 2 years, he probably observed that.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, your horses had a handle to them, huh? That impressed him.
Well, I don't know. It's hard to impress Bob. I love old Bob. I do love him. He's a great, good boss. But I remember one day we were. I hadn't been there long, 2 or 3 months, and didn't inherit much to ride. There wasn't a whole lot. As a matter of fact, when I think I had, I don't know, 9 or 10, something like that, horses in my string. And, I'd come from New Mexico and Arizona. So we moved there September 1st in 99. And I knew they was fixing to start working. Fall works was about to start. So
yeah, I
went to shoeing, trying to get everything shod. And son of a gun, even them old horses, you couldn't get around to shoe,
Dang.
It's like, son of a gun, Marty, what? Anyway, I finally wrestled these rascals around and get them shod. And first day of fall works there, Clay Timmons trotted up. I can't remember what I was riding. And he looked down. He said, I think it's a horse named Roan Taylor. And he said, I'll be dang. He's asking me about shoeing him. I said, yeah. I said, dang, I had hell shoeing these things. He said, well, we didn't hardly ever shoe our horses in this country. Nobody shot them.
Dang.
They just, that pitchforks ain't real rocky.
Right.
So, I wasted my time shoeing all them rascals. They'd all had their shoes. They'd all been shod once anyway.
Yeah.
I quit after that. I'd shoe, your pet or something around.
Yeah.
But,
it seems like I haven't been around a lot of pitchfork guys, but it seems like other guys in that area tend to want to shoe their horses these days.
Yeah, I think more of them probably do now.
Maybe
With Shoot the Ranch will pay for them to get shot a lot now. Yeah. That helps.
Send the Chapmans over there.
You bet. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Did Terry Bradshaw ever give you that horse?
Yep, going to pick him up Tuesday.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I'd be dang.
Yeah.
I heard that on that.
We got to go Tuesday.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Halter horse, big pretty rascal.
big pretty Palomino.
I'd be dang.
And then also a bay filly.
Really?
Yep.
I'd be dang.
Yeah. No, I'm super pumped about it because, I don't know why. But
yeah, that'd be pretty neat.
Well, I know why, because it's coming from Terry Bradshaw, and it's always good to have fresh horses around. So.
Yeah.
I don't really have the room, so I don't know what I'm going to do, but right now the wheat looks good, so I'll kick a few old ones out and make room for them.
You bet. Is this y'all's deal out here on the right, isn't it? Brewster pointed to me one time
yes.
when we drove through.
Yep. Yeah, that's us over there.
You must have a good sprinkler system, I guess, water?
I do. I don't really use it a whole lot.
Well, I drive to Graham quite a bit, cell barn and stuff, and I've never seen dust boiling around there like there's much work getting done. I was just curious.
Yeah, I mean,
figured you keep that arena watered down.
Yeah, we do water. The dust is just my allergies, so you probably don't see us working.
Oh, that's probably it. Yes, sir.
No, that's the light to moderate side of ranching.
When do you do your bull riding practice and stuff?
We do that during work hours, at least once a week.
Really?
We try, if the weather's nice, especially in the winter. If the weather's nice, we try to squeeze in 2 practices, because then there'll be a week like this where it's 28 degrees.
You bet.
I don't want to.
You bet.
I don't want to get out there in 28 degrees.
Yes, sir.
But
You ought to put your arena on the highway where people drive by. They can see you out there.
And then just pull over.
Spurring them.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't think that'd work.
Yeah.
No, I don't blame you.
People would stop, though. I'm not on the highway. People still stop.
Yeah, you bet.
But we usually don't mind visitors. So.
Yes, sir. I'll be dang.
If we know them.
Yeah.
If we know them. Yeah, I was about to say, that's not a public invitation. So
It's a hell of a warehouse. Golly.
we try to. It was an auction house, and that's why there's these two. Because this bay door right here, after they sold it, they'd store it back here.
Oh, yes, sir.
And those windows were where you got your buyer number.
I'll be dang.
Yeah, there's a concession stand. Well, then they sold it to the church.
I'll be darn.
Church had like 100 kids in youth in this little bitty town.
Wow.
And, well, all those kids graduated. And so I called them on a Tuesday. I was like, y'all going to ever sell that? And they said, we voted Sunday that we were going to sell it. And I just happened to call them 2 days later.
I'll be dang.
So,
are you from here?
No,
you're
my
from
sister is.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm from Memphis.
Yeah.
My sister married a guy around here, and Czech Creole.
Yeah. I'll be dang.
Anyway,
okay.
he runs a lot of wheat pasture cattle, and they buy, sell, and trade clean wheat seed.
I'll be darn.
So I came here to help with the yearlings, and ended up staying.
I'll be dang.
About 9 years ago now. Dang, this might be year 10.
I'll be dang.
Fall of 15, I came up here.
You're stuck right here.
Yep.
I'll be dang. That's neat.
Total Feeds is what keeps the herd powered here at Radiator Ranch, and Total Equine is what I've been giving Boone for 10 years. He's 24 years old and still going strong. You can get it on Chewy.com or a dealer near you. Hey, old son, if you're not feeding every morning with a Can-Am side-by-side, then you ain't no cowboy. I got a Can-Am because I needed a reliable ranch rig that I could use every day because I don't know how to work on stuff like that. So I want something that's not going to break down ever. Get yourself a Can-Am, old son.
We were working for Swinson's at the time, and their manager was thinking about retiring, and they basically said, go to TCU or we're going to hire. I was kind of the next in line if I'd go to TCU, and anyway, so I ended up going, which I'm damn sure glad I did. It was good.
For the folks out there that my dad went through it too.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
I'll be damned.
And it was in the 80s, and so for the folks out there that aren't real privy to it, kind of explain to us what that ranch management program is.
Shoot, you probably know more about it than I do. You can explain it.
You're the one went in it.
I did, but
I'll ask you if this is right. My understanding of it.
Okay, that'd be better. Yeah.
Essentially, it's the equivalent of taking about like 25 college credit hours per semester, I think. So
I never went to college, so I don't know.
So like a full, if you had a full college schedule, it'd be 12 hours. And this is like doubling that. So imagine taking double. It's almost like 2 years of college in 1 year, essentially. But it's 2 semesters. It's a fall and a spring. And how many of y'all was it?
I think there was 28 maybe in that class I went.
And it's called TCU Ranch Management, but it's a very focused program. And yeah, there's no real extracurricular classes that are like, it's all about ranch management. And
hell, you know more about it than I do. Did you
all
go?
day, every day. And no,
yeah,
I felt like I did because my dad was always teaching.
I'll be dang.
He was an ag teacher also, so.
Yeah. No, I think it was, I didn't know how it compared to college.
Way more intense.
Yeah, it was probably, yeah. Some of them, most everybody I went through that deal with had graduated college and then went to it, and they said it was tough.
The toughest part's that final project.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Your management plan.
The management plan is what I hear.
Yeah, it was. And I was old. I think I turned 40 when I was going. I was the old timer. and I remember them asking one of the first days what all, where you from and how much education you had. And I told them Santa Rosa, New Mexico, barely got through high school, and that would have been 20-something years ago. I was probably equivalent to a third or fourth grade education today. It was tough.
That.
It was tough.
They don't let just anybody in either. Like they want you to have either like yourself, a lot of real world experience or a little bit of college. Yeah. And they want it to be, you can't just be curious about it and go in there. Mm-hmm. It's more like it needs to be like yourself. You're about to manage a ranch, or I think it
was good. It was sure a good deal. I would recommend it. I don't know. I think a lot of it's changed. I thought Kerry Cornelius was in charge of it when I went, and he was my kind of guy. He's a gruff old hard ass. Mm-hmm. I liked him.
Was Dr. Johnson there?
Yep. Uh-huh.
I heard he was a sweetheart.
Really enjoyed him. Yeah. Yes, sir. They was all good. I liked them all. But anyway, I don't know.
Did it change the way you actually would have managed the ranch?
Oh, man, a bunch. Yeah. I wouldn't have even wanted the job before I'd went to TCU. I mean, I wouldn't even took it. I probably would have, but it wouldn't have been very good. That TCU, it's a pretty good deal. I'd recommend it. I mean, just even for a dumb old cowboy like me, it just, I didn't know how to use Excel or, spreadsheets or break evens or, a bunch of that kind of baloney. But it's a good deal.
Did it change any of the way that you, any of the practices that Swinson's was already doing? Did you, like the way you might rotate a pasture or something like that?
Not
was there
much.
Anything that...
Dennis Braden was running it when I'd went to TCU, and he'd went to TCU, and okay. Dennis was a real good manager. He already kind of, I learned a bunch from Dennis. Mm-hmm. He was good. He'd already had things going pretty dang good. Mm.
Sure. Did it make you want to like get goats or anything like that?
Yeah, it did. And I got some hair sheep for a little while, and I don't have them anymore. I didn't get along with them.
Yeah.
I talked to a buddy of mine, paid on the phone when I was coming home from one of them when I was still going through there, and I'd drive back to Stanford. I stayed in Fort Worth during the week, and then I had a wife and kids at home I'd go see and still try to do some work on the ranch. And he'd called or I'd called him, and I was telling him about this sheep deal. We'd been down somewhere in sheep country. Dang, that little fart, a couple weeks later, he had some sheep.
Really?
And he still does. I think he's got 3 or 4 or 5. There ain't no telling how many. And hell, he loves them.
Yeah.
But we had 100 ewes for about a year. And, ugh.
Yeah.
Wasn't for me.
Yeah. That's what
I couldn't keep them alive.
What about did it change anything the way you might run a crew come like time to brand?
TCU?
Yeah, no. Was there anything?
No.
I know they seem to respect and appreciate, just the
no, if you want to learn
the way in which we all ranch.
Yeah. No, it was good school, don't get me wrong, but if you want to learn to punch cows and slip around a crew or something like that's not the place to. I mean, they didn't teach none of that kind. That's not their deal.
I guess I'm just wondering though, like, because you're coming fresh off of, some of those guys are out of college and going there. Some of them have punched cows, some of them haven't. But with you having already had a job at the Swinsons, you go to TCU for 9 months and you come out of it. I'm curious if, when you ride up to, start dragging calves, if in those scenarios, if there was anything that came up that made you like think differently, or if it's just business as usual and it's more management.
Well, I know what you're saying there. As far as try not to run as many pounds off your steers or this or that.
I don't know.
I
don't know.
No, at the end of the day, I always felt like it's still a ranch. It's still cowboys. That what they taught mainly was stuff in the office you could, kind of maybe figure out where you could make some shortcuts or save a little money here or there. Or
efficiency.
Bill, but it didn't. I mean, a cowboy still had to be a cowboy. I don't think that you can't pencil whip a cowboy much.
Well, like I said, yeah, my dad went through it, and
he like it. He's
man,
a big guy. TC.
Yeah, him and my uncle went through together.
Nah, he worked at Pitchforks, didn't he? For a little
yes,
while?
Sir.
Where was he? What camp was he?
West Camp.
West Camp.
Yeah. I think they've since tore the house down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what
it was
I heard,
a big 2-story house.
Yeah.
Probably. Did you live there? Were you born?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's when I was born.
I'll be dang. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of snakes.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember whose, but anyways, my mom's got a big scar on her eye. She went out on the front porch. She had a towel on, and there was a rattlesnake on the front porch. They had a dog that was barking, and anyway, she shot that rattlesnake with a .243 and that scope.
Oh, hit her. Yeah.
Knocked her eye. Anyhow. A lot of stories about West Camp, but
yeah, that's a neato ranch. I like that ranch.
So when you, how long were you at headquarters there?
At Swinson's?
No,
Pitchfork.
I rewound.
I'm jumping around. Sorry.
No, I am. I rewound us.
We
weren't you wagon boss?
Yeah, that was later. I left there, and we bought a place in Truscott from Jerry Bob and Eugenie. Daniel sold us a little old place there, and we'd kind of turned it into a little old colt starting deal. And I'd went and started colts, and day worked around there for several years, and made a few moves in between. And I'd heard that he ended up going to go move. James Golson was going to do the horse deal, and they might need a wagon boss at Pitchforks. And I'd mentioned to Bob when I'd left, if that job ever come open, I would be, want to talk to him about it. And anyway, we visited and made a trade. And I went back then and, made another stint there. And was there till Bob retired. And then when Bob retired, when we kind of moved around again. But Bob was good. Golly, he was good.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad went back. They dedicated a set of pins over there to somebody. Gosh dang, I can't remember who. And my dad went to the dedication.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And Bob said, my dad told me that night, he called me, he's like, Bob hugged him and almost cried.
Yeah.
And he was like, he said, I thought you died.
I'll be dead.
Because my uncle had died like a couple years before. Anyways, Bob just got it mixed up, and he just thought, he's like, I thought you were, this whole time I've been mourning you. And then he just walked up to this set of pins and
thought he saw a ghost.
Yeah, he thought he saw a ghost.
Well, he was good.
Yeah.
We'd butted heads a few times, but I remember, I started telling this story a while ago and got sidetracked, but when I'd inherited them horses after I got them, I was telling you about getting them shod, there was a bunch of colts, a bunch of young greener horses in that pile, and boy, I'd got to riding them rascals, and I was beating around on them every evening, for 2 or 3 months. And one day James got on the radio and said, gonna work horses this evening at the barn at 5 o'clock, or I don't remember, 3 o'clock. Anyway, showed up there, and I took a couple 3-year-olds, and I was the new guy. And Richard Bumpus, I don't know if you'd ever heard of Richard Bumpus. He was at South Camp. And golly, I thought a lot of him. He's a good feller. And we'd take in turns, work horse and switch out and back and forth. And I rode out of there on my second horse and Bump. Everybody called him Bump. Said, boy, Mark, your colts look good. And I didn't think much of it. I just thought, didn't mean it cocky or arrogant or nothing. I just said, thank you, sir. Bob said, thank you. What do you mean, thank you? You ain't been here long enough to help them. Boy, it kind of hurt my feelings there for a minute. And Anyway, the next day, Bob, he drove up there and he said, "Hey, I thought about that." He said, you had helped them colts. He said, "I apologize for saying that." I thought that was good of him.
Yeah. Yeah. I could see both sides, how it would hurt your feelings and then how he would, yeah.
Yeah, I'd have done this. Now, looking back on it now, I was 23 years old. Just, I needed that or worse. Looking back at it now, I'd treat the kid the same way. Like, what do you mean? You ain't been here long enough to help that Jenny.
Yeah.
But
my dad said that. I can't remember. Like I said, I can't remember who said it. But somebody showed up at the Pitchfork, and they were all giving somebody a hard time, and the new guy chimed in, and he said, maybe it was Billy George.
Oh, Billy George Drennan?
Yeah, or somebody said, yeah, you haven't been here long enough to give a hard time yet.
Yeah,
yeah. Did Billy George pass?
I believe so.
That might have been who the pins were dead. I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
Anyhow, that's what I wanted to say a while ago. But
yes, sir. Yeah. I'll be dang. What year? So that would have been
87.
I'll be dang.
When we were there, not when Billy George passed.
Right. Yes, sir. I'll be dang.
So what made you, after you took off and did your own thing, now you're your own boss, what made going back to, well, I guess you're not a camper, you're a wagon boss now, maybe. What made you want to go back to working for the ranch? The fact that it was a promotion?
Where we at? Oh, back to Pitchforks?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it was, I just really liked that ranch and liked Bob and just kind of, I don't know. I never really, all I wanted to be growing up was a cowboy. I never wanted to manage nothing or go to, through a ranching school, or I just wanted to ride a good horse and cowboy. But it was hard to raise your family. It was hard to afford to live how a man wanted to live. When we moved to Croton Camp, I think we were bringing home maybe $900 a month.
Dang.
And $500 of that was truck payment.
Golly.
So I knew the wagon boss still paid a little more, and Jonna, she never had to work. She worked a little once the kids graduated, but she never worked while the kids were little. And it was just, we was broke,
Yes,
so I always kind of was looking for something to make a little more money. It wasn't that I just wanted to be, a boss or nothing. I just wanted to provide better for my family. And that was the only thing I knew how to do, was get a better job or take in more outside horses, do the most you could.
Yeah, I feel like, because I get with the intern program here, some people that come into it, it's very simple. They want to learn how to ride bulls or ride broncs. And they've got a dream of rodeo. Mm-hmm. I got a practice pen. It's Texas, so there's rodeos everywhere.
You bet.
And so they can learn and then go.
Yes, sir.
To rodeos, not necessarily leave, but they can go to rodeos. But then some people come here wanting to learn how to ranch. And kind of the blind leading the blind. I get it. But
no.
But they're in a tough position because, sometimes guys come in here and they don't have very many nickels to rub together.
You bet.
And they want to, and so the route to go is like, well, okay, if you're not going to buy the ranch, then you either need to work on one, or there's this self-employed entrepreneurial day work route you could go. And so that's what makes me ask that question. When you left the Pitchfork,
I was riding colts and working for myself and just starving to death. My wife, she'd help me a bunch, and we'd have 15, a lot of months we'd have 15 horses, outside horses. But back then I was getting $500 a month, which damn, thought you was getting rich. But time you paid your own water bill and your own hay bill and electricity, we wasn't making no money.
Right. Just swapping money for money.
Yeah, it was tough. Yeah.
15 horses is a lot.
Yeah, we rode a bunch of times.
That is a bunch.
Yeah.
So she's getting on them too.
No, she didn't. She just would clean stalls and,
Yeah.
Brush and, help me run me around the bronc pen, help me get them started at times.
And I'm sure you probably weren't the guy to turn horses away. So some of them.
Well, some of them weren't much fun. I don't know. Looking back, I don't know how I did it because I couldn't ride a hobbled duck. I mean, I wouldn't want to. I couldn't do it today. God.
But I mean, if somebody shows up with a problem horse or something.
Oh yeah, hell
when
yeah.
You're riding
Send
for
him
the
to
public.
Me. Yeah.
God.
Yeah, we got a 5 or 6 year old stud in one time that I was off around. I don't remember what I was doing, but I told you I left him in the bronc pen. I said, feed and water that stud if you don't mind. I'll be home later. And she called back. She said, you're going to have to get your back home and feed this some gun. He run her out of the pen. He was a mean rascal. Yeah.
Dang.
But,
yeah, that I don't know. I messed around with training horses off and on, and one time I had 5.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was just
Yeah.
I was trying to go to some rodeos here or there. I was trying to do, this or that, and especially if you do anything else for the beginning of the day that takes up your time and you get started at 10:30 or 11.
Yes, sir.
It's like
you're it takes some. You got to put time in it. There ain't nothing like using one. That's what I enjoyed about helping the 6s this fall was, just going back to using them suckers and having lots of country. It's hard for, which people do it, but I've got to have a job for one. It's hard just to lope circles,
right?
And get much done. But
that's
people damn sure
so monotonous.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it. And my hat's off to them. I respect the hell out of them.
It does seem like a lot of them, though, will stray away and then come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
To me, that is a good fallback rather than, like a lot of people would say, like, go to college for a fallback. Like, I think a person should have a trade to fall back on, like a shoeing horses or training them.
Yeah.
Or that to me would be the fallback.
Yeah.
Unless you know enough about it, like, no, because I don't want to have to fall back.
Yeah. We riding them outside horses got us through a bunch of hard times.
So how long did you wagon boss? How did you take to swapping from just being a cowboy to now running a crew?
I probably wasn't very good at it. I think I was 27, 28 years old when I went back as the cow boss, and looking back on it now, I would have done things way different. I would have been, I just kind of iron fisted it. I mean, I was just a hard charging, just stupid. I mean, it just wasn't. I wish I ain't tough enough to go back and do it today, probably. But if I could, really doing it now that you're older and smarter and a little calmer, things would have probably went a lot better. But it wasn't bad. We had fun. We had a good crew, a bunch of good cowboys.
Did you weren't there when Wakefield showed up, huh?
Yes, sir.
Oh, you were?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was there.
What was he like?
He was
young.
He was good. He was good. I enjoyed Wakefield. Yeah, I think he told you on your deal. I think Bob had got to where he'd let me get some of the day work, and we had Pooch. Ty was coming, and somebody backed out or something, and Pooch said, "I can bring Ryan Wakefield from East Texas." Back then we thought Grayford was East Texas. I don't know. Yeah, that's a true story. So he said, "I got this tick I can bring." And I was like, well, hell. We couldn't find anybody else. So we let Wakefield come.
I'm sorry.
Anyway.
What do you how do you remember him?
Redheaded. I remember that.
Was he quiet or was he loud
No,
like he is now?
quiet. He was a totally different person.
That's what I was assuming.
Yeah, he didn't say much. I remember one day, one memory of Wakefield I'll never forget because it scared me bad. Is he was riding a bunch of extras, just nothing real great horse wise, and we threw some cows up. And there was something in there. There was something in there kind of ringy. And I remember, something squirted out. We was catching them and bringing them back, or some of them was. Anyway, something. I was 4, 5, 6 men away from Wakefield. I could just kind of see him in a draw down there. And something squirted out by him, and he roped it, which was a shocker for one that he caught something. But no, I'm playing. He ropes good. But that horse wasn't trying to help him much, but I can't remember if it was a cow or yearling, but he got it kind of back in there where it's supposed to be and got off to tie that yearling down or take his rope off. And I just remember that horse running by him and kicking with both hind feet just way up high. And I seen that horse kick, and I seen Wakefield go down. And I thought, son of a buck. That guy's probably, he's hurt.
Yeah.
And hell, he pops right back up and, didn't even phase him. I think the horse, he told me later that he missed him or something, but from my angle, I thought, and now that I know better, hell, he'd have probably just crippled the horse, if he'd have kicked him in the head. But
did it whip that horse around, or did he have the rope off the yearling by then?
No, I think the rope was still, I can't remember all the details, but I think he was still tied on, and that horse done something, and that rope kind of got under that horse, and he's probably he wasn't really kicking at Ryan. He was kicking at that rope. But, boy, I just seen them hind feet go up by his head. And I thought, son of a gun. He's a goner. But, no, you can't kill that rascal.
Everybody pretty much tied off still back then?
Yeah. Outside for sure. It's pretty brushy. And, I think everybody pretty much, in the dragon pen, it'd kind of be both ways, some people dally, some tied on. But if you went to catch something outside and you needed it, which if we did, we needed it, So
right.
Everybody pretty much tied on.
What was that? How did you see it that way on all them ranches growing up down? Was everybody pretty much tied off? I've never been to South Texas.
Yeah. Well, I never did work down there neither. I was little. I don't know. I was probably 3 or 4 years old when we went.
So
west.
You were dallying then. So
yeah, I just did. Yeah, I did dally and chewed snuff and drank beer, but not much changed.
Yeah,
but no, I never did work down there. But there in New Mexico, where I grew up, it was a lot of both really. Some people dally, some tied on. I pretty much dally anymore. I try not to catch anything anymore. If I'm rope, it's going to be in the arena. I don't care about chasing wild cows or
let somebody else do it.
Tying down bulls. I used to love all that stuff, but
yeah,
it's funny what you outgrow.
Yeah.
I really need to urinate. Can we take a break?
Yeah, go ahead.
Right here?
Right there in the corner. Rock and roll denim is what Dale Brisby uses to spur his bucking bulls. I get the reflex. Gives me the mobility I need to be the cowboy I am. So go to rockandrolldenim.com, old son. Ever since I started riding bulls and punching fools, I've been wearing an American hat because I'm an American. I actually wore a different hat before that for the longest, but then my mom got a job. So wear an American hat, old son. Otherwise, you ain't no cowboy.
Yeah, I heard it. Yeah, I got to where I don't hardly listen to the radio. I like these podcasts.
Yeah.
Pretty neat.
I don't know. They're pretty fun to just... It's like having... It's as if they are in the conversation. They just don't get to contribute.
Yeah,
the listeners, that is.
Yeah. This deal's a little intimidating for me. I'm just not a big public, speaker and all the lights and the... Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's kind of... Should have made a little stiffer drink on my way over here, probably. But.
The video side of it, though, is just what is so... I don't know, because a lot of people watch it. Like
really?
Yeah,
I've never watched one.
The watching side of it.
Oh, so this is videoed too, not just sound?
Yes, sir.
Hell.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah,
head
you
looked like it wore out 2 bodies. Yeah,
you look great. Don't worry. Yeah, no, the video side though, like I've seen the YouTube, the podcast on YouTube has slowly gotten more popular than iTunes and Spotify. Just because, really? Yeah. But
yeah.
What were we talking about?
Tying
off.
Tying off.
Yeah, you said I think it was pretty much out in New Mexico. You felt like both.
Yeah, I think everybody kind of did both. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of people get real scared of it.
Tying off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Outside of Texas, that is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some people are really against it, but
yeah,
which I can see. I don't know. I guess I can see how you'd get there, but it is so much easier.
Yeah, you can put a hand on each. You know, if you get him on a colt or something, you know, if you get something caught, you can put a hand on each rein and go to work.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, where'd you go after Pitchfork?
You know, then I went to Spires for a short little jag there, and we didn't get along too well. And I was wanting simplicity. I didn't want to have to push a crew or be around anybody. And a friend of mine, Ron Redford, was leaving. He was there at the Rock House working for pickets for Don McCauley there in Benjamin. And he was quitting, going back to Oklahoma or Kansas. And I called. I said, heck, you care if I put in for that deal? So I called Don, and he hired me. So we went there, and dang, I liked it. That was a good job. Don was good to work for. And they just had that leased for Morehouses. It was a league deal. And we went there 3 or 4 months, and they lost the lease.
Dang.
So then I was like, son of a gun. Now what are we going to do? And I'd called Brooks Hodges, was the assistant manager at the time at Swinson's. He's now manager at Pitchforks. Well, I called Brooks and knew Brooks a little, didn't know him great, but asked him if they'd be interested in maybe leasing that ranch and I could just work for them. And he said, I don't know, let me talk to Dennis and let us, run over. He went through TCU. Let us kind of run some, how many acres is it, yada, yada. Anyway, he called back and he said, it's just too much farm ground for us. We wouldn't be interested in leasing it. But he said Randall Gates was their cow boss there at Swinson's, and he said he just left. Would you want his job? I said, oh, hell no. I don't want it. Hung up the phone, and my wife was like, what the heck are we going to do? We got bills to pay. I said, I don't want nothing to do with that deal. And
because you didn't want to be a wagon boss again?
I didn't want to be a wagon boss. I didn't want to be any part of a boss. I just
right.
Well, I liked that little deal. 1-man deal suited me to a T. And anyway, I rocked along there, and I was trying to beg and hoping somebody'd lease that deal. Anyway, finally got to the point where just had to do something, and I called Brooks back and said, and actually there was a camp open and the wagon boss job, and Stoney Jones had put in for the camp, and we were kind of arguing back and forth. I wanted the camp, and so did he, and he ended up getting it because his wife Sammy taught school in Guthrie. So it was a lot closer for her to drive from Taylor
from the camp.
Yeah. So crap. So we moved to headquarters, and here I was again. It is funny. That was the best move. We laugh about it. The good Lord works in mysterious ways, because I'd fought him the whole time on that. I didn't want to move there, and Swinson's were great. It was a life-changing experience going to work for them. They've been real good to us. But I went there and was for a while, and then Brooks put in for the manager's job at Pitchforks. and he got it. And when he was leaving, Dennis asked me if I would be interested in the assistant manager's job, Brooks's job. And I said, again, no, not no, but hell no. Well, one day we was doing something, and I seen Dennis driving somebody around. I can't remember who it was, but basically my new boss. You know, if he'd hired him, he's fixing to be my new boss. And I thought, well, crap, I don't want to work for that guy. So I called Dennis. I said, well, if you give me, if the chance is still open to be the assistant manager, I'd probably do it.
Dang, that's a good reason to take
the
the job.
Yeah, so I ended up taking that deal, and then, like I said, then that led into the TCU deal, and got back, and Dennis retired. I ran that for him for a little while, and I guess ran it right, and as soon as I got in, they put it up for sale. So I did a hell of a good job, didn't I? But,
you were at Swinson's a while then, huh?
we were there, I think, 11 years, something like that, 10, a little over 10 to 11. And they got it sold, and
Isn't it pretty rough country?
no, it ain't real rough. It's brushy flats, a lot of
Maybe just
cactus.
a lot of brush.
Yeah,
Cactus.
it's pretty brushy, real
That's the rough
cactusy.
part.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. That's what somebody told me.
Yes, sir. And they got it sold. There's several board members and family members of Swinson's, and they were going to keep this Throckmorton Ranch where we live now, and it's just a pretty little deal, and they were just going to lease it out. I thought, dang, I wonder. I was real scared to ask them. I had to. Finally, at one of them board meetings, they were talking about it, and I just asked, I said, would y'all? Because they told me if I'd stay till the ranch sold, they'd give me a pretty good little bonus. And I said, I tell you what, I'll just trade this bonus back for if y'all lease me. So anyway, they leased us the ranch we're at now. And John and I bought us and the bankers bought the cows from them. And
Dang.
that's then we were kind of wanting to do some stuff to the house there and fix it up, and didn't, so we asked them if they'd sell us 150 acres, kind of my horse trap in that headquarters, and they did. So us and the banker bought that too.
Yeah. Well, that's cool because now you
at least we don't have to move.
you don't feel like you got to move if you had to.
Yes, sir. Yeah, if something happens, at least we don't have to move around.
Yeah.
That's nice to have.
Man,
Yes,
that's
sir.
neat. Now you're back to doing your own deal, though.
Yep. Now it's perfect. It's just kind of like a camp job. I got John and the banker bossing me around, and so that's my only bosses, so kind of there by myself.
How does it compare
like it.
to the last time you were self-employed?
Well, it's a little better deal, just probably because we're a little older. But last time we were just trying to ride colts and just scratch out a living. It was a tough deal. This deal, we got a few cows, kind of help pay the bills. Anyway, yeah.
So looking back, I'm curious. Do you remember some of the wilder wrecks you'd seen?
I was
Cowboying?
thinking about that on the web. For one of the funny stories, luckily, seen some buck offs and some broken arms and legs, but, as far as just real terrible, bad wrecks, I don't think I'd ever been around a whole bunch of them. But they're working at Spires. It'd been raining one fall, and dang, it was too wet. We shouldn't have been working, but it was one of them deals. Anyway, Cody Crabtree, you ever heard of Crabtree? Mm-hmm. He was helping us, and we had some country leased that Swinson's ended up leasing. Anyway, we called it the lease there out of Jayton, and the Brazos River ran through it, and it'd been raining, and this river was rolling. And there was a crew, I don't know, the rain had kind of let up, and that river, we had to get what we needed worked was on the other side of the river. I was riding an older horse, big tall horse. I crossed, and about halfway across that deal, I was thinking, I probably shouldn't have done this. This was a big, stout horse, and I could feel him kind of wanting to wash away and water running over my saddle. And there's just one little trail out, and he hit that trail, and we got across. And I turned back to the crew. I said, guys, y'all ain't got to do this. You know, old Krabby, he's riding a colt. I think it was a colt of his brother's. He said, I'm coming with you. And he aimed that colt down there and splash. They went, and they didn't get to the other side. Krabby, luckily, that colt washed away, and luckily I was able to jump off and get a hold of Krabby and get him pulled out. And that horse is just rolling down the river. I thought, oh, hell. We killed this horse. Luckily, Crabtree's alive.
Yeah.
Because if he would have, he'd have been rolling. Anyway, that horse finally got in the middle of the river on a sandbar and just shaking, scared.
Oh,
it was a mess. It was probably a mile. It was a pretty good ways down there. Anyway, I crossed back over, and we tie a couple ropes together. Charlie Walden was there. He was on a camp, and I think Charlie gets we get Crabtree's horse roped and get him drugged. We just had to sled him out. And so now we've got everything alive on the side of the river we need to be on, except for Krabby. He's still afoot on the wrong side of the river. And he's just walking up and down. Anyway, we go back to the best crossing where all this stuff started, and Charlie he tied them two ropes together, and he tied him a stick in the loop of one of them ropes, and he'd swing it and throw it across there as far as he could. And, Crabtree, he's not a real stretchy type cowhand. He's a pretty short coupled, and his old arms would just barely miss that stick by about 6 or 8 inches every time. And finally, Charlie got it slung across there, and he was able to get it. And he put that rope around him, and he suckered down, and I got on the end of it and was kind of easing him, and he didn't go very far, and he just went out of sight. And when he went out of sight, I just went to the end of it, just skipped him across that river, and he come out of there in mud and spitting. God dang, Vossy, you didn't have to go to the end of it. I said, I thought you was going to drown, Krabby. His saddle was a mess. We didn't get nothing gathered that day.
We didn't get nothing gathered that day.
We were just glad we all lived. Yeah. No.
We just did our chores and went home.
Yeah. That was another funny day there. It'd been raining, that same works, and Crabtree was staying there where I was at the paddle camp, and there was a little bunkhouse there he was staying in. Anyway, there was a pretty big horse trap, and it was hard to get them horses gathered and found, and we'd split up, and I found them, and I called Crabtree. I said, hey, I found the horses. I'm headed in. Okay, Vossy, I'm in the northeast corner. And I said, no, Krabby, I'm in the northeast corner. Well, excuse the hell out of me. The sun ain't shining 6 days. I'd been here or something like that. Sorry, Crabtree. We was all getting a little testy by this time. But that was a pretty fun works there. It was,
yeah.
It had a good crew. Reese and Waylon were there. Crabtree, Charlie.
Waylon
Davis. You know Waylon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I texted him to jump on the podcast. He didn't respond.
Oh, really?
Yep. He ghosted me yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you just texted him recently.
Yeah. I'm going to have to call him.
Yes, sir. He probably didn't know your number.
No, he did.
Oh, he did? Oh. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't have much in the rain. One time I was trying to gather some horses in a hailstorm, and my horse started bucking and knocked me out.
No kidding.
I woke up on a couch.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
So somebody drug you to the couch, got you to the couch? Or?
Yeah. I mean, like, they knew I was out there. Like,
yeah.
I was going to get the horse. When growing up, we would just keep one horse in, and then to jingle with, and then,
right.
And anyhow, they were always down on the creek, and I took off. I was like, let's go. And anyway, he was pretty fresh. And
Nah, but dang.
I hit his head.
Yes, sir.
I remember going down forward. At least I think. Anyhow, I did.
When did you start riding broncs?
I got on my first one when I was 15.
Yeah.
I went to a Sankey rodeo school, and me and Dirt, Tyler Terry. Yeah.
I went to one of them schools when I was a kid. Los Sankey schools.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's been putting them on for years.
Yeah. I really wanted to be a bronc rider as a kid, but I was terrible at it. Wasn't very good.
Well,
I like that.
it is so hard
Mm-hmm.
to learn.
Yeah.
And it's so different than a stock saddle.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
You know, once they put that nylon strap to hold those stirrups up,
You bet.
it just changes
Them
everything.
binds, yeah.
Changes everything.
Shoot, yeah.
You wouldn't imagine it'd be so different from the stirrups hanging straight down, but
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
Then you taught JB Mooney to ride bulls?
I taught
guess,
him,
is
yeah.
that-
Yeah, that's kind of, put him on the map, got him started.
Was he hard to get going?
Yeah, he's kind of hard-headed, you know, but he listened very well, as you
Yeah.
can see.
Yeah.
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 Took a full day.
No.
So what was your podcast going to be about?
Oh, what were we going to do? I can't remember. Something goofy. We was going to, I think we was mainly going to just kind of interview just some old cowboys we knew. We thought it'd be fun, but like I said, it never took off. I think of Fro Walden, he comes to mind. I think he was going to be one. Monty Jones. I think a lot of Monty. You know Monty? He's a heck of a bronc rider.
I don't know if I
Monty
know him.
Jones, yeah, he was Stoney's dad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was.
I know Stoney, but
Yeah.
I don't guess I've met his dad.
Yeah, he was a bronc riding rascal. Real good.
I've heard a lot of guys talk about Fro.
Yeah, Fro. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Just people like that.
What were you going to call the podcast?
What were we gonna name? I think we decided.
Rodeo Time.
No, it wasn't gonna be. We were gonna come up with a better name than that. Yeah, it was gonna be something catchy. Yeah, I think Cowboy Chronicles is what we were gonna call it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is way better, actually.
No,
Yeah, I do want to. There's a few of those names came up. I'd like to have Bob on.
yeah,
Yeah, I had Tom on one.
He's been on one. Bob, I heard him on one a while back. Yeah, I heard Tom's. It was good boots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy listening to him.
I need to do another one with Boots.
Yeah, he'd be good.
He's got enough stories to fill up.
Mhm.
You could do a whole series with
Yeah,
the
you
man.
could. Yeah, Wes, it was good. Coles, I liked his. I've liked them all.
I really
Kai.
like, yeah. Kai and Tim.
Yeah, they did good. They did them all here. All them fellas did them here too.
Kai and Tim were here. I went to when Cole was at the Cowan camp to do that with Wes, and
Yeah,
with Boots I went to Guthrie.
you bet.
With Tom I went to his house.
I'll be dang.
Yep.
It's probably
Yeah, we travel.
pain hauling all this stuff, isn't it?
It can be.
Yeah.
The thing is like what's crazy is bad electricity is a thing.
Yeah.
And there can be a buzzing in the mic, and it's just because of where everything is plugged into.
Oh, really?
There's like little things like that can
Yeah.
throw it off, or the lighting is different, or. But I didn't feel as bad asking you to drive
Yeah, it's
here
not
because
very-
it's we live so
20
close.
minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. You kind of got this soundproof. And, I
We
bet it's a lot
remodeled this whole deal in here to be the studio,
easier. You bet.
but
No echo. I bet it's a lot handier to do it here than go.
yeah, you don't have to, and then you don't have to keep up with the SD cards. That's
Yeah.
another thing. Sometimes
You
we.
bet. So Terry Bradshaw, he drove down here.
No, I went to his house.
He did.
Yeah. Yeah, come on in, Terry.
Yeah.
We'll get started in a while.
He
When I'm
makes
ready.
me laugh. I seen a deal here a while back on something. He was on one of them games or something. He's got them 3 or 4 daughters.
Oh, yeah.
And they asked him if he'd.
And they're
had
not
any-
ugly.
No, they're pretty girls, look like. And they'd asked him if he had any sons. He said, no, not that I know of. I hadn't met him yet. He
Yeah.
seems like a hoot. I
Yeah,
bet
he
was.
is. and he don't turn it off.
Really, he stays.
Just from what I gathered from the afternoon I've been with him.
That's pretty neat. He gave you a horse.
Yeah, 2 of them.
Halter bred horse. It's gonna be interesting how these things. Probably big, pretty rascals. Probably big.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait.
How old is he? 2-year-old?
2.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe coming 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy turn.
Yep. So if you got any horses you want to give me, now would be the time.
Well, I might could rig you up. Yeah. Tradition, no.
All the good guests, at least.
Yeah. No. You're making too damn much money. I need to sell you one.
I don't make near as much as what some of these rumors say I make.
Really?
I'll say that.
There's so many rumors about Dale Brisby. Yeah. It's funny. Yeah.
I'll be dang.
But
yeah, I don't know. I don't hear a whole lot of rumors.
what do you got going on at the ranch now?
You know, we've just finished branding some fall calves, and we're just kind of got another little handful to get.
I guess my phone
worked.
was turned off that day for you to call me.
Yeah, I should have hollered at you. Dadgummit.
If I didn't live so far away.
I got your number now. I didn't have your number.
Yeah, I know. And then the second time, you're like, who is this?
Yeah, who is this?
I just talked to you, Mark.
Well, it showed up rodeo time when you called.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought then I knew.
I tried to prank call somebody the other day, and that didn't work.
Yeah. And then when you texted, how's 5 o'clock Sunday? I was like, who in the hell is this? It's Dale Brisby. It's me, Dale.
Yeah.
But now I got your number. Yeah, y'all have to come out sometime.
All right.
How
Did you hear that?
Yeah, come on.
We'll be there
anytime.
tomorrow.
Hell yeah. How many interns? I heard you say the other day, y'all keep
10.
10 interns?
Yep.
What in the hell does 10 interns do?
Well, 6 of them edit, and the other 4 work in the warehouse.
No kidding.
Yep.
You sell that much? I guess merch is
There's
merchandise.
16 of us total.
No kidding.
There's 5 locals.
Wow.
I call them locals. I mean, they just like they're non-interns.
Right. Yeah.
But
Wow. You gonna stay around here? You gonna get so dang famous? You're gonna move
dang, I sure hope so.
Fort Worth and Dallas? Or
Well, I
Austin
mean, I hope I stay around here.
really?
Yeah, I don't know who in this town would want a 12,000 square foot
Yeah, building. Yeah.
fantasy factory.
Yeah, and you put your face all over everything.
Yeah. And it's got murals everywhere.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you like looking at yourself, don't you?
You know, just it's for the employees to remind them who the boss
you
is.
bet.
Yeah. That's who it's really for.
Yes, sir. Is that American hat?
Yes, sir. We actually ranched in the rain. It was the day after Christmas, so it's a little flimsy right now. It just got rained on. I need to get it reshaped.
You bet.
But
Shoot, yeah.
sorry I interrupted you. What else y'all got going?
No, that's about it. Yeah, we're just kind of feeding a little bit.
You ever calve out any heifers or anything?
Yeah, we
Keep some?
We do keep a few every now and then. I tell you what, we put a low birth weight bull on them and just kind of let Jesus take the wheel.
I don't like waking up
them.
I don't like waking up in the middle of the night. I put a Corini bull on
You
mine.
bet. Yes, sir. Yep. No, that's another good way of doing it.
I saw we had a 6th one, Donnie.
Oh,
this
y'all
morning.
are calving some out?
Oh, this morning. Born at after y'all fed. Oh, nice.
Y'all feed at 9 a.m.?
No, but that's when we left.
Oh.
Yeah.
No wonder I never see nobody around there. I'm usually in and back home by 9 a.m.
Well,
Y'all
that's
get started?
today's Sunday.
Oh,
Normally
oh.
everybody's out there. They're out there about 6:45.
I'm shitting you. Oh, heck.
Well, you got any life advice for us?
Life advice? No, probably not.
What about cowboy advice to a young up and coming whippersnapper? Let's say older, maybe not that young, 22, 23 years old. They want to be a cowboy. They want to learn. Maybe they've ridden a horse or two. What do they need to do out there?
Find something else to do. That's going to be tough.
That's gonna be tough.
It's going to be tough. I ain't saying it isn't impossible, but it'd be tough. But, like everybody probably says on here, just go to, find somebody you like. Really, for a guy like that, probably go to work for a horse trainer for a little while, learn to ride, learn how to. Then if you got that down, then come back to the ranch after a year or two.
Dang, that is a good place to start.
Yeah, that's what I would suggest.
But they're going to have to be kind of salty enough to get on a 2-year-old.
Yeah, but at least it'll be controlled environment.
In a round pen.
Yeah, they'll be in a bronc pen and kind of some sand to land on. And, get to learn to ride and be able, you can pull your horse around a little bit.
That's a really good.
Then maybe go to work on the ranch. Maybe. That's what I would suggest.
Yeah.
I don't know. Usually whatever I think, do the opposite, and it'd turn out pretty good.
Well, I feel like you're right, because if they had to learn about the horse and the cow at the same time, that really ain't going to work.
No, it's hard. It'd be hard. It's harder. It seems harder nowadays for a guy to get it. The jobs ain't there. It seems probably harder to get a ranch job.
Do you think the cowboys are there?
Not like it used to be, I don't think.
How do you think it's different?
I just don't think there's as many. I mean, I still think there's really good, especially, this part of the world and everywhere, really. There's some damn good hands. But as far as a guy just being real green and wanting to go to punch cows, I don't know where I'd send him or where I'd recommend him go. Maybe Arizona. I don't know. But I know that's some big, my brother-in-law, West Foot, he worked out there. He was the wagon boss at the ROs for a good while. I never worked there, but I heard story. It's a big, rough, dang sure stay in a wagon a bunch or at the wagon. No, that might be a little hard to, I don't know, hard place. Maybe a feed yard.
That's
for a little while,
I had one kid come work here, Nick Anderson, and I was like, man, I don't know if do you ever see that Gray Horse Brew Road of mine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the one he did the races on?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, he wanted to ride, and I was like, you need to just wear leather off of a tree as much as you can.
You bet,
he was here for 2 months, and and I was like, you can ride all these horses, but if you I don't want you riding every one every day, just because I didn't want him to gall them. And then I said, but you can end the day on that gray horse.
You bet.
He'll outlast you, And he got to where, there'd be a day, like he'd ride him 10 miles a day. I know one week he rode him every day, and his little app would, and then he went to work for a horse trainer, and then he went to a feedlot.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd probably be.
And I felt like, I think when he came here, he was around 21 or 2, and he trains horses for himself, and that's been, about 5 years ago that he got started. And I think I don't know, that's interesting that you said that.
I think
go work for a horse trainer.
Yeah, I think that would help,
2 months at Dale Brisby's.
Yeah.
Then go to a real outfit.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, this looks like a good deal. Start at 9. Finish at 10. Hell, I'm not too far. Where'd I sign up? Am I too old to be an intern?
Light to moderate ranching.
Do you pay interns?
I do.
You do?
Yeah, they work 2 weeks for free.
Yeah,
on average, and then they get paid.
Yeah. I'll be dang. Try them out, I guess.
But we just call them interns after that to market to the world, because when somebody hears the word intern, number one, they think they're not going to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, they think it's short term.
Yeah.
So you get people calling you with this mindset that they're willing to not get paid.
You bet.
Well, then when they get here, no, I'm going to actually pay you a little bit.
So that's better, yeah.
But they come here under the
impression,
mindset, and so like to me, it's like they're really committed, because I live out in the middle of nowhere compared to some of these places they're coming from. And so I want them to really want to be here.
Damn. Where do you put them up? You put them up here in town somewhere?
We've got some houses around town.
Really? Yeah.
That's why I was saying a while ago, it'd be hard for me to leave. Like,
yeah.
I don't know who else would want all these little houses.
You bet. Yeah, you got it fixed up how you want it.
But
I'll be dang.
yeah, we start them in these containers. Did you see those?
Is that where you keep them?
Yeah, we start them there, and if we like them, then they move to a
I thought I
house.
seen some fingers hanging out of one.
Yeah.
One guy's hungry. Feed him with a slingshot. Yeah.
No, they're cabins. They're container cabins.
You bet.
Connex boxes.
I'll be dang. It's a hell of a deal.
Well, I appreciate you jumping on and
You betcha.
visiting with us. And
Yes, sir.
if you ever get Cowboy Chronicles going,
Nah, I doubt we do. I'm going to try to trade you all that crap. Dang, my wife gave me a list of what it was. I forgot to bring it. Shit.
yeah, just text me.
Yeah.
You never know.
It's probably nothing as fancy as.
Well, I'll let you know.
It was the intern or the
Hell,
starter,
it might be nicer than ours.
starter package, I think.
The intern starter package.
The podcast starter package.
Yeah. Shoot,
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Well, everybody
pow.
check out rodeotime.com. And if you ever find yourself broke down in Throckmorton, Texas, look up Mark Voss.
You bet. We'll come running.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Guaranteed. We'll treat you so many ways you'll have to like one of them.
His phone number is, we'll give it to you here.
806.
Do you run into Tucker much over there?
Yeah,
The
I
Browns?
see him every now and then. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They give you a deal on bulls?
No.
They don't give me a deal either.
No. I wish they would.
Much as I plug them, they never get a deal.
I do like their bulls. That's about all we got over there is their bulls.
Yeah,
They're good rascals.
they are good bulls.
Gentle. Most
Yeah.
of them gentle.
I'm going to,
I like them. I wish they'd lease them. I asked Donald one time. I said, y'all ever thought about leasing bulls? And he just laughed at me.
I would lease in a heartbeat.
Yeah, that would be handy.
I would lease in a
Yeah.
heartbeat.
Send them back. Y'all ever, you lease bulls to buck or you own all of them?
No, we usually own them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I got one right now. It belongs to JB. I guess technically it might be a lease, but
You bet.
I'd like to lease herd bulls is what I want
Oh,
to do.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
You bet. You ride them too, your herd bulls?
Yep.
You do?
We've broke a few legs.
Yeah.
Yep. So we try to get a breeding season out of them.
And then go to
Then
ride
we
'em.
buck them
Yeah.
because it hurts whenever it's before they've bred anything.
You job them so hard.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Shoot, yeah.
Well, good deal.
All righty.
On to the next one, everybody. Rodeotime.com. Get you a hoodie, cap, T-shirt, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Pow, pow.